Hey, St. Patrick's. Great to be with you on this Tuesday, November 7th. Just have a couple things I want to pass on to you in today's video e-letter. Three things, actually. First, please take a look at the announcements that are going to show up in this week's newsletter, and especially the announcement regarding Thanksgiving banquet or common meal happening Saturday the 18th, and then also Dining with Dignity. We're hoping to have a great group out this month to serve at Dining with Dignity. That's first. Second, I want to mention a podcast to you. Andy Campbell and Hannah Campbell had a number of months ago introduced me to a podcast from a church in Portland called Bridgetown Church, and their podcast is called the Bridgetown Audio Podcast. It's a podcast of sermons mostly. I imagine there's some conference things there as well, but I have really been enjoying this, and so I know I should be telling you about my sermons, but I don't have a podcast of my sermons. But I'm really, to be serious, I'm getting a lot of encouragement and strengthening from these. So I encourage you, if you are a podcast listener, go on whatever podcast access you use, and get a hold of the Bridgetown Audio Podcast. I think you'll find it really encouraging and helpful. Lastly, I want to talk about prayer a little bit. I've been sort of off and on in the last few months talking about prayer during my video e-letter, and given some kind of helpful tools with that. So today I want to talk about a practice that comes from the early church, maybe as early as 70 AD. There's a text called the Didache, and it was written sometime around the end of the first, early second century, and it's a manual of discipleship. And Didache is rooted in the Greek for teaching, so it's teaching about how to be a disciple. And one of the things that writing encourages disciples to do is to pray 3 times a day, and to simply pray the Lord's Prayer 3 times a day. So if you need to sort of kickstart your prayer habit again, you've got out of the habit, need to practice that again, or you've never really built one, this is a great way to get it started. Now, I don't think you'd want to have if you're 30 years in your prayer journey and you still only pause 3 times a day to pray the Lord's Prayer, you're probably not where you need to be. But if you need to kickstart things or get focused again, this is a great way to do it. And it kind of functions the way what are called the monasteries, the hours of prayer, or we call the daily office, works. That, when you rise, midday, when you go to bed, you pause, kind of catch your breath, and you slowly pray the Lord's Prayer. After you get in the habit of doing that, you might want to actually pause and sort of do what C.S. Lewis calls festooning the Lord's Prayer, meaning pray the first part, Our Father who art in heaven, then pause and think about that. Maybe add some praises around that, and just go through the sections of the Lord's Prayer and do that 3 times a day. That's a great way to practice daily prayer. And like I said, I would just, if you're out of habit, I'd start by saying the Lord's Prayer. I wouldn't whip through it, say it slowly, and then kind of work on praying through it meditatively, pausing, letting the words sink in, and then actually use them as a platform to offer your own kind of praises and petitions that align with the actual language of the Lord's Prayer. That's an ancient practice. Like I said, probably goes all the way back to the first century, and it's a worthy practice and something you might want to try. Listen, have a great week. I'm looking forward to being with you on Sunday, and God bless. See ya.